Legend of the Shamrock. The shamrock, or small white clover, is almost universally worn in the hat over all Ireland on St. Patrick's Day. The popular notion is that when St. Patrick was preaching the doctrine of the Trinity to the Irish, he used this plant bearing 3 leaves upon one stem as a symbol or illustration of the great mystery. But it is certainly a curious coincidence. In Arabic, it's called shamrath and was held secret in Iran as emblematic of the Persian triads. Pliny, in his natural history, says that serpents are never seen upon trefoil, and it prevails against the stings of snakes and scorpions. It is said that in Galtee or Galtic mountains, situated between the counties of Cork and Tipperary, there are 7 lakes, in one which, called Lough Dilveen, it is said St. Patrick, when banishing the snakes from Ireland, chained a monster serpent, telling him to remain there till Monday. The serpent every Monday morning calls out in Irish, "It is a long Monday, Patrick." That St. Patrick chained the serpent in Lough Dilveen, and that the serpent calls out to him every Monday morning, are firmly believed in the lower orders who live in the neighborhood of Lough. Now, we have already did demonstrations in regard to Eunice Day with the Moors, and they already break down that the so-called snakes are the Moors. They was ran out of Ireland. It says snakes in Ireland. Inquisitive man wanted to test truth of St. Patrick legend. So he took out a bunch of snakes, man, to see if that they could live. And he wasn't thinking esoteric. He was thinking exoteric. That's why we're doing this right here, brothers and sisters, because you're thinking exoteric. You need to think deeper. They're hiding the history. The greatest of St. Patrick miracles was that of driving the venomous reptiles out of Ireland. And they're calling this a miracle. People being ran off of their land and rendering the soil forever after so obnoxious to the serpents that they instantaneously die touching it. Cogan seriously relates that St. Patrick accomplished this feat by beating a drum, which he struck with such fervor that he knocked a hole in it, thereby endangering the success of the miracle. But an angel appeared, mended the drum, and patched instrument was long exhibited as a holy relic. You hear that? A holy relic. They're playing games with you, man. So why didn't our foremothers and forefathers record the true history and come out and tell us that, hey, the Moors, the Christians, the Islam, the Holy War, why didn't they come out and tell us? Or why didn't they take the time to preserve our information instead of following holy days or holidays? I'm sorry, you don't call it holy days. They're too busy with the childish ways, and they don't even know the meaning of these stories. He took the snakes out there. He took the snakes out there, and it really means the Moors. It is said that one Kenneth Moor accompanied Lord James Douglas into Spain with the heart of Robert the Bruce in 1330. When the 2 Scottish men arrived in Spain, they found King Alonso VI engaged in war with the Moors and accepted his invitation to join the Christian forces, getting in stuff that they had no business getting into. Now, them saying Spain, that's very ambiguous. Anywhere they conquered, they'd call Spain, because they got Old Spain, New Spain. Then one day, the story runs, Kenneth slew 3 Moors and cut off their heads. And shout went up from the ranks, "One Scottish Christian Moor can kill 3 Moors," they said. And so it came about that 3 Moors' heads were blazoned on the Morrison coat of arms. When they just talking about the trifoil and having the 3 clover leaves and all of that, they're practicing the murdering of the Moors. Can you imagine someone running around celebrating after they murdered your family? And it's 3 Moors' heads. It's not 3 clovers. So every time you look at the 3 clovers, think of 3 dead Moors that got their heads cut off. Also with Alfonso, tied with Portugal. And their flag has the 5 shields that represent the defeat over the 5 Moorish families, El Bey, Day, Al, and Ali. And there's 7 castles with it because they have 7 main canals around the world that they used to do commerce with all the nations. If you just get in peace, then everyone can get into line and everyone can get what they need, and there don't have to be any kind of holy war. Found gold long hidden. Ancient prophecy fulfilled, but puzzle concerning the earliest Celtic people remains. The quantity of pure gold ornaments found in Ireland and in the Celtic parts of Scotland is one of the puzzles of the civilization of the ancient Celtic peoples, says the Duke of Argyll. Where did they attain enough gold to make the twisted wires, the bracelets with the open space between the spoon-like ends? I knew of one hoard recovered, and although the legend that it existed had currency among the people, for some time it had never been searched for and was obtained by accident. A great boulder lay on grass-grown ground at the bottom of a valley. It had probably been dislodged by some volcanic upheaval from a cliff which overlooked this valley. There it stood on end, and there was a tale connected with it, but the story was treated like an old wives' tale, and no man had dug to find out the truth. Agriculture, however, began to be systematically pursued, and all land at low level was required. Superstition among the crafters made them avow that the concealed gold would never be found until the son of a stranger came. Powder was utilized to blast away the big boulder stone. Plowing had already been undertaken around it. The plowman waited at some distance with his team until the blast had taken effect. When the pieces of the rock were removed, the plow was drawn over the site. It was a recently employed English boy who guided the plow. 3 solid gold bracelets were found on the spot where the boulder had once been. Thus, an English boy fulfilled the prophecy of the story of long ago. And they said the son of a stranger would find it. Just like the Cornish crest that has the Byzantine coins. All of them, like 15 of them, because English are the strangers to that land. So start being more reserved within. Man knows not by being told. When you hear these stories, there's falsehood, but falsehood always attaches to truth. So there is truth to it, you just have to look deeper. But from what comes across the desk that I see is an insult to truth and a travesty on history. Gentlemen, I have read through several pages of your Irish history and find it not only utterly unreliable and glaringly false, but even slanderous and vindictive. Characteristics entirely in accord with the uctus hypocrisy and narrow-minded bigotry of the creeping blackmailing brutish Anglo-Saxon, who are the international blackguards and the most degraded national criminals to be found anywhere on the face of the earth. You begin by explaining and exculpating at the end of justifying England's inhumane and devilish career on Ireland. You or your Anglo-Saxon writers have not a word of condemnation for the wholesale butchery of the Irish people carried out by Elizabeth Cromwell and their successors. You seem only to regret that the Celtic race was not entirely exterminated. To call such a work as historian's history is an insult to truth and a travesty on history. A more appropriate title would be The Anglo-Saxon Liars, History for Circulation Among Salacious Preachers and Their Ignorant Dupes. Very truly, the Cornish Temple. So I'm just now looking at the harp, and it immediately ties me to the Circle 7, the 7 with the Moors. I have an extensive demonstration I'm going to do in regards to the number 7 with the Cornish. As far as different customs we did, I told you that we was going to study here at the temple. We're going to turn over every stone because we wish to know thyself, and we're going to pick away the falsehood from the truth or the odd. I have to go to the Moors and speak to them and get answers in regards to when it said that they chained up the monster and they said they'd let him go on Monday. And every Monday he would say, "It's a long Monday, St. Patrick." See, there's something esoteric there, but I'll get to thinking about it and come up on my measure. The study said that they cut the heart out of Bruce and wanted to take it to Jerusalem to put it in the Holy Land. Wow. Your temple's within, brothers and sisters. Some more practically minded persons subscribed a considerable sum of money, which they offered in rewards for the destruction of any other snakes that might be found in the district. And 3 more of the snakes were not long afterward killed within a few miles of the garden where they were liberated. The remaining 2 snakes were never clearly accounted for, but no doubt they also fell victim to the reward. See, they're talking about the 3 that was killed afterward. And them 3 is the Moor's head they talking about they cut off, man. You see the Order of Ireland where it has the 3-leaf clover, but the tail looks like a serpent. So it has 3 serpent heads, which is the Moor's heads. And they did it with the celebration of the harp, which is a symbolism of the 7 of the Moors. It said 2 Moors was missing, so that made 5. And that's the 5 Moors families, which I told you was El Beyday Allen Ali. And you see it. It's the Order of the Cross is what it's called, with the Portugal flag against the Moorish dominions. So you're sitting here celebrating yearly the murder of people, and you don't even know why your karma's coming. Like you have a car crash and you don't know why. It's because you celebrating the death of people, of their heads getting cut off. While the winds blow Allah's justice will come swiftly upon your heads if you do not change your ways. I leave you in peace and love. The Cornish temple is always open.